Bow wow.
Welcome to DogStar.
Each week we sit down with a star of hip-hop and R&B, and this week we have the pleasure of sitting down with Niles. Niles Chadwick Phillips.
Indeed.
How you doing?
Good.
The artist, the Renaissance man,
The polymath, the man who wears multiple hats.
Thank you.
The
Thank
hard
you.
worker.
I appreciate that. And congratulations to y'all too. I remember when we all first got started and to see what it evolved into with your own studio, with the lights and the cameras, and it's dope, man. So
Thank
congrats.
you.
But yeah,
That means a
everything
lot.
is good. Today is January 1st, 2024, and
Yep.
look at how we're spending it. You know?
Yeah, last time we got to sit down with you, I believe, was in October of 2018.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, back at the old spot.
Yeah.
There's been a few different spots since that last one.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, now we're here.
Yeah, and I think you were really hyping to Remain.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, the album just came out actually.
Right.
Like a month before that interview.
That's
And
so fun.
yeah, fresh on the promotional tales of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's mainly what we had talked about.
It was, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
We
the
played
format
couple
was a little
songs.
different. Yeah, so there wasn't much time to even talk. Back
Yeah,
then.
it was super fast.
But today we got plenty of time, and,
Totally.
I say we hop in the time machine.
Exactly.
Head back in the day to the origin story.
Definitely.
What type of music was being played around the house? Born in Minnesota,
I'm born in Lansing, Michigan.
born in Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah.
So let's start in Michigan.
Yeah, so born in Lansing, Michigan, and the way that I came up, you know, I was really into sports, like a lot of kids
Okay.
around my way. Like before anything that had to do with anything music-wise, I was hooping, playing football. My older brother, Segrin, he's the one that was into music. He was like that cool older brother that was doing like all the big stuff. The dude was like 12 and on a commercial for a shoe store, rapping.
Oh, wow.
So he introduced me to like, you know, hip hop, to game, to style, to just everything, you know. And then I had an older brother named Sebastian, who was an incredible visual artist. So you had like this hip hop side and then this like exquisite, you know, visual art side that I was able to be inspired by early. So I was a visual artist, along with hooping, you know, and just, you know, a regular kid around the way, community centers, all of that stuff. And in high school, that's when I took a liking to rapping, because I would be able to memorize songs within like, I swear, like 18 hours of listening to them, you know?
Whoa.
So that alone made me think, you know what, let me see if I could test this. And the rest is history.
And is it still in Lansing?
Yeah,
High
this
school
was,
in
yeah,
Lansing as well?
still in Lansing, yeah. I went to Everett High School in Lansing, same high school that Magic Johnson
Sweet.
went to, graduated from. Then I moved here, actually, my last year of high school. I went to Park Center.
I don't want to pause it though, but
Yeah.
what songs were you memorizing early on, just so I can kind of get your influence?
Well, I used to Love Her by Common.
Oh, okay.
Like from the time I was 11 to right now, it's like my favorite song ever. But that question, it goes so many directions. But I say that, The World Is Yours, Niles. It was like early 90s.
Right.
It's funny, like the first face that I saw, like as a kid, I'd always see Q-Tip's face before I'd even like be able to understand hip hop. You just kept seeing his face, and then that created a curiosity to see who he was and what he did. And so that connected me to Tribe Called Quest. And but it wasn't just music. It was the style of dress. You know, back then it was cross colors. Damaged jeans, which was the first jeans that they put holes in with different colors when Criss Cross was out. So it was the flavor. It wasn't just the music, but it was just
Right.
the way of talking, the way of dressing, just the whole style of it. And then I moved here my last year of high school.
And I was gonna say, did you have an MC name for yourself early on? When
Yeah,
you
my
were...
first rap name was Lava Flow.
Wow, Flow.
Yeah, yeah. And then my older brother actually named me Alias, because he was like, you know, it's a mystique to you. It's like unknown, but at the same time you're in the atmosphere. So then it turned into Alias. And then I moved to New York after school.
Okay.
Won a talent search that Hot 97 put on. So I
That's
was
right,
on Hot
that's right.
Records for a year and changed my name to Niles. So that was like the the 3 chapters from Lava Flow to Alias to Niles.
That's sweet.
Would you ever consider releasing music under, you know, Lava Flow, you know, the alter ego, maybe a more different,
if it's like a nostalgic type of topic, you know, yeah, like this is like where I come from, you know, who I used to be.
Concept.
Project. Yeah, on some like Lava Flow to Alias to Niles. Actually, like a dope concept. You know,
like, yeah.
If it drops, then we got to talk about percentages.
Precisely, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Lava Flow versus Niles album.
Exactly. I mean, you just came up with the concept, so.
Hey, you heard it here.
So you're saying you went to New York after living in Minnesota to do that? Because didn't you go to Michigan U?
Yeah, I went to Michigan State University. So
I think we're jumping the gun.
Okay.
Sorry, timeline-wise.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so I moved to Minnesota my last year of high school. Went to Park Center. Played on the basketball team. I went to state for track too, the 104 ball one. Shout outs to Tyrone Minor, who is he's big on the fitness and wellness scene, and he's a mentor. He helped guide that track and field lane. But after that, I moved back to Michigan. Went to Michigan State University. Graduated from there. Moved to New York.
Okay.
Very cool. And then what was it all like music fueled going up to New York, or?
Yeah, my friend Jeff Carlson, shout outs to Jeff from Platinum Properties, which is a top business on Wall Street in New York. So when I lived here my last year of high school, I went to Park Center. He went to Osseo.
Oh, okay.
And I'd always go to like the house parties and freestyle, and we'd always talk about New York. I always had an affinity for New York, like a lot of people in the arts. And it was like, yeah, man, we're gonna move there and do our thing. So while I was in college, he was like rising the ranks on Wall Street. So by the time I moved out there, he had a 2-bedroom apartment and was like, yo, come out and do your thing. So I moved out there. We was roommates first when I stayed in Queens and Corona. Then I moved to Brooklyn. And it was a dope time.
That sounds so cool. Yeah, had never heard of that part of your life story. It's, very exciting, it sounds like. Were you doing like shows and recording music out there?
Yeah. Like in high school, I was the most likely to like succeed in music. Like I was in rap battles, all that stuff. So when I moved to New York and when things started to, take off, when it started to blast off, like no one who actually knew me was surprised. So long story short, I stepped out on the scene and just attacked everything in sight, open mics, freestyle ciphers. And during that time, I was like still honing my skills as far as my presentation as an artist. Okay. And, all of that led to me getting into a talent search the Hot 97 put on, called the Who's Next talent search. And I ended up winning it. So the next day I'm getting interviewed on Hot 97 by Miss Jones, who was a radio personality at the time. They shout out to Miss Jones and DJ Envy.
Okay.
So Envy was on that show with Miss Jones. This is before he started the Breakfast Club and everything.
Okay. So that's huge, yeah.
Original song that you performed to win that contest?
Yeah. Yep, it was a song called Hip Hop Is. And I'll never forget, Joe Santana was a guest performer at that show. Whoa. And then Blind Fury from 106 in Park. Remember Blind Fury? He was from the Freestyle Fridays battle. He was one of the champions. That's when like Jen was on there and everything. But Blind Fury was a part of the talent show too. Shout outs to Blind Fury.
Like performing at it or just
yeah, he was in it.
Oh, whoa. Well.
Yeah, and one thing people don't know about Fury is he's very talented. He didn't just rap, he played the piano too and he sung.
Wow.
No one has seen that outside of a chosen few. They just see the Freestyle Fridays. But Blind Fury is very talented.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
talk about momentum. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah.
And then it caught my ear when you were talking about doing community center stuff like very young. Did that like influence you at all to want to be like involved with the youth?
Definitely.
And like when did that start calling you back? Like
it's interesting because I'm like very nostalgic minded, so I keep in mind my mentors from the past every time I like step out with the youth, because I imagine myself as a youth staring at my mentor. So how would I want my mentor to present themselves, you know, for me to gravitate and respect and follow what they done. So yeah, when I think back, you know, there's a guy named Cortez who was he was the head of the advising team for a program I was in called King Chavez Parks that took underprivileged youth to college. So like youth who come from the hood, but they're sent off to a college because these are youth who still get good grades. Sent off to a college. We went to Eastern Michigan University for 3 days, and it would show us what college life would be like. So Cortez was just, you know, he was the man, you know, and we all respected him. I don't know where he is now, but he's a good example of one of many bits and pieces throughout my past of mentors who showed me what it's like to be a man. So me being grown now, I want to carry that tradition.
Yeah, do you remember the first like opportunity you had to like be a mentor to somebody, and like do you think you were like missing that in your life after having such a positive experience with a mentor? Like was it like how did you get called to be a mentor to even one person, let alone doing what you're doing now?
Right, I'll say actually, because my aunt, Cynthia Wilson, she's the president of the NAACP Minneapolis chapter. We would come here during the summer, and it was a youth program called Teamworks. I was maybe like 13, but it was this kid that was 11 who worked under me. And that's one of my earliest memories of like giving game to, you know, someone younger than me. Yeah. And I even then had in mind the people who gave me game when I was like, you know, giving him advice and things of that nature. So that's one of my earliest memories.
Wow. Yeah, even
of like mentorship.
Yeah, even having older brothers, it sounded like being able to be like that big brother to somebody probably was a great experience for you.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
And yeah, no wonder you value it so much.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I mean,
brothers is.
No, I think humility is the most powerful weapon that you can have, you know, like aggression and acting hard and all that stuff. It's seen as strong, but it's actually weak compared to humility, you know, because not only with humility, you are able to show that you appreciate something, but you're able to be inspirational and leave like an impact on someone to carry that to someone else. So it's like spreading positivity. So that's something I learned at an early age, and that I try. I mean, I haven't always succeeded at it, but that's one thing I've always strived to show myself with, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah. We've only got 5 minutes left before the break. I want to make sure we get well, when was the first? I mean, 12 years old is pretty young. When did the avant-garde start? Did that start in Minnesota?
It did, yeah. I used to host the Poets Groove open mic. It was the longest running open mic in Minnesota, way before I got there. I moved here from New York, performed on that stage just at the open mic. And Kevin Washington.
Sorry to interrupt. How long was the stint in New York, or what was how long are you living out there?
I lived in New York for 3 years.
Okay.
06 to 09, the end of 09.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Desdemona, who was a legendary poet and artist on the scene, hosted it before me.
Wow.
And Kevin Washington and his band, he's a legendary jazz musician. So when Desdemona stopped, you know, I took the baton, and that was like my introduction to the Twin Cities music scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
A great introduction.
Yeah. And so
ground level.
And so after 2 years of hosting that, that's when the avant-garde formulated. I remember I was talking to my homie David, like, I'm about to start this business, this program called the avant-garde that's gonna, you know, bring light to the subculture of urban entertainment. You have pop culture, then you have subculture, you know. Put like a club light on the subculture, like show it in the same exquisite high level way, but at the same time it's deep rooted, it's real, it's eclectic, you know, it really hits the soul, but at the same time it's raw, so you're still able to get live, have a good time. And our launch party was at the Bedlam Lordstown. It's not around no more. It's where the Lost Fox is now, right across the street from the Union Depot.
Okay.
Yeah, we had our launch party there. Then Ashley DuBose, She was fresh off of The Voice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
She attended and approached me and said, "I'd like for you to put on my release party for my album, Be You."
Whoa.
Because she was so, she was very impressed with what we did. So yeah, we got up, connected both of our teams and made it happen. And then I'd say the light that we got, the attention that we got from that is what like blasted it off into like so many different stratospheres.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, because I want to know,
Yeah.
the avant-garde, you guys throw and host events for sure. I know
Yeah.
that. What all else is the avant-garde?
So the avant-garde, it's funny because before this interview we was talking about evolution, you know, evolving. It's almost like a tree growing different branches and leaves. Like it started off as music, arts, entertainment, putting on concerts, curated events, production, featuring artists in the lanes of R&B, neo soul, hip hop with the message, jazz, spoken word poetry, reggae, Afrobeat, all across the board. But then it grew into a consulting business. So
Okay.
I'm consulting for different artists now, and I just got a management contract drafted by an entertainment lawyer. You know, so now I have a management contract on deck, and as artists, I'm in talks with about potential management. But it's all, you know, timing, evolution, and we put on our first music festival 2 years ago. The second one was a year ago, called On the One in
Yes.
Bloomington. And I'm super excited about the future of that too.
Man, yeah. I mean, ever since we talked to you in 2018, it's been like non-stop events and collaborations.
Yeah.
And I mean, your rollout was like one of the coolest rollouts I'd ever like witnessed
you.
with your the music project.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like the promotion behind that, and like, you know, shaking everybody's hand, getting a picture with everybody who bought your album. Like I
The
tell
interactivity.
I tell everybody about that. I tell
Thank you,
anybody
bro.
who makes a project that's like, yo, anybody who buys something with you, like, take the time, like, get that picture. And then I think you were doing like if it's that person's birthday, boom, you got a picture with them. It's like, it's their birthday, but don't forget about this project.
I mean, it's about celebrating, man. Like,
Yeah.
you
the
know,
connection.
Yeah, it's just about celebrating life, celebrating people. You know, this is an experience. So, and I'm about giving people the roses when they can still smell them. So if you ever think of Niles, you'll be like, that's my homie, and he respects me, you know? So that's what it's all about.
Make sure you follow him at Niles Got You on Instagram, as well as the Avant-Garde at The Avant-G. Follow us at DogStar Podcast. We'll be right back.
Oh, wow. Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
We're sitting down with Niles, Chadwick Niles Phillips, I should say.
Yeah.
Niles, as we know you.
For sure.
Talking about, or we're just getting into the avant-garde.
Yeah, the origins of the avant-garde.
And I wanted to mention the avantgardeis.com is the website
Yes,
for that.
yes.
So that's TheAvantgardeis.com. So
And we,
just
before the
want to get that.
and before the break again, we were talking about kind of the evolution of the avant-garde,
Mhm.
Yeah.
more consulting, maybe some management in the future,
Yeah.
and definitely all under the umbrella of lifting those artists up and remaining that eclecticism and uniqueness.
Indeed.
I wanted to ask where jazz started playing in. Was it because of you hosting that open mic that you kind of got tapped in with it? Or?
My father is the longest tenured African American in the United States Symphony Orchestra, 48 years. But he started out in the bebop era. My father's 92. His name is Sam.
Wow.
I have a picture of my father on Thelonious Monk gigging in like the early 20s.
Oh my
So he's a
gosh.
Juilliard graduate, Manhattan School of Music, got his doctorate at Colorado University. And
So in
48
music study
years.
as well.
Yeah, so it's like jazz is deep rooted in me, my personality, everything about me. But then jazz is a part of the root of where hip hop comes from too, you know. So always keeping that in mind, along with that neo soul, at like the early 2000s, from like 2000 2003, it was just this emergence, man. Like when Music Soul Child first came out, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu's album, Mama's Gun.
Yeah.
But even before that, you know, just the 90s, it's just like, it caught me, man. You know, it was real. So as much as we're in 2023, you know,
2024.
2024, exactly, yeah. It's first day, right? I'm still like time flying back and forth. But as much as we're in 2024, I try to always keep that element alive because it really influenced me. So that's a big part of the avant-garde, is keeping that element, that vibe, that centric aspect alive. So jazz, neo soul, spoken word, just that deep-rooted, real. Yeah.
Do you play any instruments yourself?
No.
Okay.
But it's interesting because I can produce, I can be in a studio of
Right.
different
You know,
people with
sounds
instruments
good, yeah.
and be like, play this on the keys, play this on the drums, you know. Yeah, so,
Wow.
yeah. And I've done a couple projects like that, and I'm looking to get more into that as well. So,
Okay. I mean, that's almost like being a conductor.
indeed,
Yeah.
Like on my album, I wrote everything that everybody said, songs, all of that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so I'm getting more into like that side of the coin too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Time Is Now song is still an extremely motivational
Thank
song.
you.
That's
man.
an
I
anthem.
love that song.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that song.
It's
I was
so
talking
good.
to myself on that song. You know, it's about not letting anxiety, fear, anything cripple you or paralyze you. Sometimes those elements can hold you back. You know, and it's all in the mind. So and to be honest, that's something that I struggled with. You know, being very talented, but at the same time, okay, how do I overcome this anxiety? You know, and that's something that a lot of people go through that they don't say. So when I made that song, I was literally releasing from that within. That's why I think it did what it did, and it continues to do what it do.
And what was the selection process to narrow down to Caroline Naomi as the featured vocalist on that track?
So shouts to Caroline Naomi.
Because you just said you wrote everything.
Yeah,
So
right.
why choose a female voice to sing
Totally.
this?
Well, I mean, you know, just, you know, from mothers to our grandmothers to just what women mean, you know, to life, you know, I think it's always good.
Yeah.
You know, if you put a woman on a song, it's always going to be good because to me it represents that whole element, you know. But anyway, Caroline Naomi, I met her at this open mic that I put on. It was a brief open mic. It was at the Reverie. Remember the Reverie? It was on Nicolette and Franklin right there on the corner. Anyway, Caroline used to come in with her guitar and perform, and it was around the same time that I was creating The Time Is Now song. My album was already done. To Remain was already done. But Sam Barsh, who was a Grammy Award-winning producer, he's produced on Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly album. He was like very instrumental. Me and Sam go way back to New York. But Sam introduced me to a producer named Jordan Brooks, who stayed in California. Jordan sent me a beat. My album was already done, but I was like, this beat is talking to me. And I still didn't have, to me, that song that was like a radio song. So I wrote to it. Caroline, I was just like, you know what? Let me see what's good with Caroline being on the song. She said she would do it. She did her thing, and then we did the video down in Miami. So
Wow.
Sweet.
yeah.
And ended up being the 10th track on the album.
Yeah.
So it ended up becoming a part of the album.
You know,
I love
becoming the
that.
first single, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, released in July of that year before he dropped it, I believe.
Yeah,
July 24th, 2018.
totally.
dope.
Yep.
That's cool. I always like learning the selection process, or I guess selection process is kind of gauche, but
Yeah.
Right.
the fate to which brought your
Yeah.
paths together.
Kids,
Indeed.
for sure. It's
Yeah.
interesting to hear that it was from an open mic.
Yeah.
You were saying you were writing, how long ago did you write that song then? Because if you were already performing on stage and hosting open mics, it doesn't sound like you had that much anxiety. Or like, what were you anxious about?
You know, when you're young, and I think you're different, you know, and you're trying to figure it out, you know, it could be pressure, right? When you add mortality to that, where you don't know what's going to happen the next day, but you want to accomplish everything, that can add to that pressure, you know?
Right.
And it can feel like it's like a lot on your shoulders. And that's what I felt when I was like younger. And it affected a lot of different things, you know? So me being a late bloomer, part of it is a result of that. But I learned the aspect of sacrifice. Like, everything's not gonna go exactly how you planned. You're gonna have to step out of that comfort zone, and you're gonna have to walk on some balance beams in order to really release that and really fly and glide. So I bring that up, you know, and it's something I'm not ashamed about, because I know it's something that a lot of people are going through that they don't say. You know, when they see an example of someone who overcame that and that's walking in their calling, you know, it's something that they could be able to follow as well. And it's so relieving because, you know, you're used to your thought culture. Thought culture is basically a word I made up that has to do with how you think and how you feel every day. You know, some thought cultures could be like, you know, pain inflicting, you know, on yourself, but it's the normal way that you think and feel. Others is like cohesive, it's optimistic, it's positive, you know? So to go from the pain to the positive as far as how you think on a daily basis with yourself and where you're going, that could be a process, you know? But then there's some people, they just get up and go. So everybody's dealing with different things that they don't talk about. And I think that when I made The Time Is Now, that song, a lot of people have told me that it helped them because I had to dig deep within myself. But the best art comes from that. That's what I tell my students. Don't be scared to go there. Don't be scared to be an open book in your art, because it's really, all music is a conversation with a cup of coffee between you and the world there across from the table. And you're telling them about how you feel about different observations and experiences in your life. So that's what The Time Is Now came from, that concept.
Yeah, I wouldn't have pictured it quite that way. It's so interesting to learn that you were feeling those feelings at the time. I thought it would have been more of like a, I'm making this for the kids, like, you know, positive.
Yeah,
song,
well, it was actually, The Time Is Now a celebration.
Yo.
So it wasn't at the time of that. It was like before. So, and then it's like you release and you're on a higher level and you're sleeping better, you know, life is smoother, and you realize that way of thinking you had to break out of. So it's like, and it was it's like, I'm gonna celebrate this, and I'm not gonna be scared to go deep and talk about what I went through, you know? Because some wars is what surrounds you, other wars is what's within you, you know? So.
Yeah, no, it's a real beautiful song, and thanks for sharing a little bit about it. Like, I know it's, you know, personal or whatever, but
yeah, totally.
It's
yeah, I mean, so many tears. Tupac, you know, Niles, Drunk by Myself, you know, Common, It's Your World. Like, those are songs that they'll be remembered by because they went there, they took it there,
right,
you know.
Exactly.
So I try to emulate that.
And do you still feel that kind of release, that triumph when you listen to that song present
Totally,
day?
yeah, because it's, you know, it's about evolution, man. You know, like, you know, making music is a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it's about like evolving, you know? So evolving from just being an artist to an entrepreneur, you know, and that was a process, you know, and now I'm able to give artists paid opportunities. You know, a lot of people that's doing music, they're not getting paid. It's not making anything, right, you know, or they're getting duped. So I want to be proof with the avant-garde that you can be able to be a person of class, a person of dignity, and have this positive culture where everyone's happy, people are getting paid, and people are being inspired to move forward. That's because to me, music is amazing as much as the music industry can have a bad rap. Like, you can create your own detour. If that's your calling, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. So that's what it is, and that's what fuels the avant-garde.
That's awesome. So yeah, from getting the opportunity or seizing the opportunity to host that open mic, how did that evolve into like wanting to host a show or then start throwing shows? Because is that what the avant-garde started as? Was like, we're gonna throw shows and we're gonna.
That's what it started as. Yeah, just
based
when
on...
I think of like nightlife and leisure, you know, I think of where are the voids that could be filled, you know?
Right.
Like when I go out, what catches my attention? You know, what do I want to, where do I want to kick back vibe out with my lady? What do I want to experience that's going to keep my attention? And it takes a lot because, you know, it's a lot of the same things, you know, that goes on when it comes down to a nightlife. So I wanted to create just a whole other world of leisure, of vibe, but at the same time create opportunities too for artists. So on one side, it's a production program that puts on concerts, curated events, entertainment for Fortune 500 companies. So Target, from Target to Ameriprise Financial, all across the board, we've assisted in some of their events. But then, like as an artist, I released To Remain, my album Under the Avant-Garde. And through that path, I was able to open up for, I mean, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Rakim, Jay Electronica. I can name so many different names, you know. But that portal opened up to a lot of things that I'm doing now, because I'm able to work with people like Nabate Isles, who's a Grammy Award-winning trumpeter. I'm able to interview people like Robert Glasper. I interviewed him a week before he won his R&B Grammy at the Dakota. So what it evolves into, it's just like taking a life of its own, man. And it's all organic, it's business, but all of it comes straight from the heart, and that's the best of it all, because it's non-compromised. It's all organic.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Exactly.
I love what you're doing over there.
Thank you, bro.
And following your own discretion as to like what are you looking for in an event. That's so cool that you can like stay true to that, and it's like I know exactly what this should be like.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
if
it's
I don't
like,
want to be there, then it's not going right.
yeah, it's just, it's the thing about art that's so dope is you show a side of you, you know, that reflects in other people, you know. Like you show an endeavor, or you show a reflection, or you show like a creative side or whatever. You put it out there, whether it's in the form of music, fashion, movies, whatever. And other people can see themselves in it and they appreciate it, you know. So that's what it's about, you know. Like people who listen to D'Angelo and Erykah Badu and Tribe Called Quest and Slum Village, you know, we like to have a good time too, you know. But it's about when we go out, do we see anything that represents what we like?
Right.
You feel me?
Not just like.
And a lot of times, no. So that is a void that I wanted to fill. And turning up and getting lit, you know, that's dope too. Like that's what's dope about art, because it all of it has its place. But I think businesses that succeed are the ones that fill voids. You know,
I like that.
What needs to be filled. You fill that void, and then it creates inspiration. And now you got a business running like an oiled machine. So
That's great. I got
providing the opportunity. I just want to loop it back to that as well. And it's kind of 2-3 birds with one stone.
yeah,
I really like that.
or 4 or 5.
Or 4 or 5.
I mean, how many birds are we?
Stop.
Are we getting that?
We're getting. Yeah, got the stone on the string.
Right.
What? I wanted to ask. Now it seems way not serious enough. But
Yeah.
so you're hosting events. You're performing at events. You get nervous on any level for either one of those still, or is it just?
Because I'll get the party jitters throwing a party at my house.
Yeah.
Oh, is everyone having a good time?
Right.
You know, and I would
My
only assume it's
nervousness-
amplified.
The nervousness to me, because as far as like the presentation, the production, that's second nature.
Right.
So I don't really get nervous with that. My nervousness is more the anticipation of how many people's gonna come.
Oh,
You know? So that's the nervousness. How many people is gonna come? But I like that because I like the challenge of that. You know, that's like an unseen challenge that every person who puts on an event goes through. Will it sell out? How many people are gonna come? So that's the nervousness. So when it is sold out, it's like it goes from nervousness to just this joy. It's just like, wow, they appreciate it. They came out. So now it's really time. So I get energetic because a lot of our events lately I've been selling out. You know.
Yeah.
So I want to say thanks to the Twin Cities, you know, for seeing the vision and rocking with it. You know, and I'm dedicated to the scene. You know, I could have moved to Chicago, Atlanta, New York. I mean, who knows what the next days will bring?
Right.
But no, I'm dedicated to the Twin Cities. I love it here, and I'm thankful, you know, for what I've been able to do while I'm here. And it ain't just me.
Right.
Bro, it's so many people out here doing it, man. You know, so many. So
I mean, the Twin Cities thanks you. We thank you. You're truly a pillar in the community, and
thank you, brother. I appreciate
to
that.
be able to lift up so many others is
Yeah,
inspirational
man.
to us, and I hope
Yeah.
inspirational to the viewers.
It's all about legacy, man. You know, it's legacy time. You know, that's what 2024 is about to me: legacy and stepping out on faith and betting on yourself like never before. You know.
That's a good way to kick it off.
Yeah.
I like that. Make sure you follow Niles at Niles Got You on Instagram, as well as the Avant G on Instagram.
And the avantgardeis.com. Follow us at DogStar Podcast. Sitting down with Chadwick Niles Phillips. I always just want to call you Niles. But
Hey,
it's
depends
Chadwick
on
Niles
what's
Phillips.
going on. If I'm rapping, it's Niles. If I'm
Right.
hosting, it's Chadwick. If I'm teaching, you know, it's Mr. Chadwick. So
Hey, there we
We'll
go.
be right back with
Right
Mr.
there.
Chadwick.
there you go.
Wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
Sitting down with Mr. Phillips.
Professor Phillips.
Professor Phillips. Yeah. Teach.
Niles.
So we've got the avant-garde full-on evening curation, basically. You guys do it all from promoting for big names coming in to like hosting, throwing, like doing the dressing up the space and everything for shows. Like like you're basically in charge of the evening when you guys are throwing a show, like putting on a show. Like you're picking out artists for shows. You're doing
One-stop shop.
and different roles for each show. You know, not necessarily doing it all for every show, but yeah, you start doing some big names like Rakim, Jill Scott had a part in that. Had a part in the Erykah Badu promo when they were coming in.
Wow.
Had a chance to do stuff with Mos Def.
Yeah. It's funny, man.
Unreal?
Like,
Was that crazy?
yo,
When
the
it was-
thing with Most Def that is, well, y'all seen
Yeah, I
that.
was just about to say.
That is interesting is different chapters when he came here, I was like a part of. So when I lived here my last year of high school, we performed at the Quest with this band, Jack Johnson. And I was about to go to college.
That was
I spoke to his DJ. I was like, "Hey, can you bring him back out?" Because I was wanting to freestyle for him. He actually brought him out. Like,
no way.
this is when everything was like being like taken down. People's leaving.
Was that Ecstatic Tour or Black on Both Sides tour?
No, this was before Black on Both Sides.
Okay, whoa. Okay,
It was like
okay.
right before Black on Both Sides came out.
Okay.
Because I remember hearing his song Hip Hop with the live band. It was crazy. But he came out, I freestyled for him. And I asked him, should I go to college? Should I just go straight to music? And he was like, go to college, bro. You got the talent.
Yeah.
Go to college. So that was one time. Next time, it's when I was advisor for the High School for Recording Arts.
Okay.
He came here and performed at the Guthrie. And Tony Simmons, who is one of the leaders for the High School for Recording Arts, I think he's the executive director, shouts to Tony. He used to be Mos Def's his lawyer
Okay.
when he was acting.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
I go to the show. After the show, Tony's like, do you want to interview Mos Def? I said, hell yeah. So I went in there, interviewed him.
Wow.
And then when he came here at the Skyway, I opened up for him.
Oh my gosh, third time's a charm.
Yeah, so every time he came here, I was like a part of it organically. It's interesting. But like Rakim, that was the first A-list artist that the Avant-Garde produced the show and concert and curation for, man. And I always wanted it to be on like that level, like upper echelon. And like you said, Jill Scott, we did a ticket giveaway for that, Live Nation. And the Erykah Badu concert, shout outs to DJ D-Mill, SP Styles, you know, he hit me up. And I was a part of the promo for that. And all of these different situations, it's amazing. You know, it's a blessing.
And the organic nature of it all too. It's right place,
It's just
right
like
time,
a
right
snowball
passion.
effect. Yeah, it's almost like when, you know, preparation and discipline meets opportunity, you know, and then it just continues to come your way. Like you work, boom, and then you expect it, right? But when you expect it, sometimes people get lazy. But if you expect it and continue to work hard, that's when it really comes. You know,
Just pour it in.
yeah, yeah. Being an entrepreneur, it all comes down to you. Like right when you start, the clock never goes off, ever. You never clock out. You just take breaks. You know,
A little bit short, some short, some
long. Yeah, but that invisible hourglass is right next to you.
Yeah.
You know, wherever you go, it's like I got to get to it because time is ticking.
I mean, I'll get metaphorical. It seems like you were finding a rhythm. The rhythm became a steady beat, and then eventually that beat became like a metronome for you in your life, like keeping you on
There you
time.
go.
Like you can't even not do something now because you know it's time to do something.
Exactly, totally. No,
It's
it's a good metaphor.
It's
to-
going
to describe it,
quick
for
because
sure.
2023 has been crazy. You were saying on the break you did Juneteenth celebrations in
two cities at once. So I did it for Greater Mankato and for Minneapolis Parks and Rec last year.
How, I
2023.
mean, other than double the stress, double the vendors, double the artists, double the anxiety, how do you compartmentalize that?
It's just when you're born to do it, it don't even feel like stress, to be honest. You know, because it's fun. Like all this is fun, bro. Like when I first moved here, it was just get a job. That's it. Like, and I was on a major label and all that stuff, and you know, I had to like reroute and start from scratch. But I'm glad it happened that way because it kept a humility that remained and a work ethic that remained. You know, so going through that, that's what keeps that drive. So anytime I get paid to do what I love, no matter the work, I'm not complaining at all, bro. Because it's people working 9 to 5, telling me to do. It's homeless, it's, you know. And I was in all those chapters too, you know. So it's like appreciating it all because you came from somewhere. You built up to this from somewhere. So I always keep that in mind, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've definitely been working. You did the TC Jazz Fest
And Selby Jazz Fest too. Yeah, so shout out to Twin Cities Jazz Fest and Selby.
Nice.
Hosted both of those. And,
then Soul of the Cities. That was in July 2023.
Yep. The Mill City Museum.
And do you do that in like the courtyard?
In the courtyard, yeah.
That's so
Sweet.
cool.
Yeah, it
Such
was
a historical
like
spot.
Walls and
It's been sold out every time, bro. Like everybody looks forward to Soul of the Cities.
And then-
Right when it hits the scene, I tell people all the time, get your tickets now. I don't ever say it's gonna sell out, you know?
Right.
Because you just, you know, I leave room for
not gonna jinx
hope.
it.
Exactly, you know, it's gonna sell out, and then nah.
I'm not even gonna try.
But it's a
gonna sell
silent.
out.
It's like a silent, like confidence. Like, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
they'll
And
believe
then when
you.
it sells out, I put that big sold out on the flyer.
Right,
you know,
right.
watermark that joint, put it out there. So yeah, man. But yeah, Mill City Museum, Soul of the Cities. Yeah.
Another success story then in August was the return of the On the One. That was in Bloomington.
In
this
Bloomington, yeah. So the first 2 years, it's another dream come true is I always want to put on a music festival.
Time. Yes.
You know, I think music festivals or just festive events like the State Fair, or where it's just everybody coming together. You know, I could just sit back in those type of environments and just people watch and think in my mind, this is what life's like. What are we fighting for? Like, you know, like music, food. Those are like two main components that brings everybody together because we can relate. We all got to eat to live. You know, and who doesn't like at least one song of music? So putting on the One Music Festival, I was inspired by, you know, the South by Southwest, the Montreux Jazz Festivals, and the Essence Fest, just the festivals that really spoke to the soul. And to do it for that first year, you know, thanks to Faith Jackson and the city of Bloomington for giving that opportunity. So we did it 1 year, and then we did it the second year. And we have plans for this year, so.
Uh-oh, you heard it here.
Yeah, plans. Yep. Yep.
And then, yeah, to keep it moving, September then was Open Streets. I think that was up and down
Open
Nicholas, right?
Streets,
Yeah, and
yes,
then,
yes. Shout outs to Shanika Bogan and Senator Bobby Joe Champion for giving that opportunity for me to produce. The avant-garde producer.
That's
Open Streets,
awesome. And then hosted the Stokely when he came in October.
Another dream come true. I came up listening to Mint Condition. And,
Right.
shout outs to Jeff Tobby from Mid-America Talent for providing that opportunity. Yeah, Stokely is class personified,
Yes,
class
sir.
personified, bro.
Yeah.
You meet him, you forget he's a celebrity. He's that laid back and cool.
Wow.
You know, a good example of how you're supposed to wear your power. So, yeah.
And then Autumn Soul.
Yes, Mall of
That was
America.
October again.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
did that.
sweet.
Mall of America, and that was amazing at the Rotunda. Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
tricky?
yeah.
I mean, we don't have a lot of time. Was it tricky doing the sound in that
Yeah,
rotunda?
is
or
acoustics
what's-
weird?
It was actually cool.
That's
Because, you know, it just comes down to mic checks and sound checks and putting in that work and that time. So, yeah, it was good. I've been there where it's been a little shaky, but for the most part, it was all right. Yeah, shout outs to Mall of America. We're looking forward to working with them more, too.
And then that sweet, so now we're in November.
2023.
2023. Jazz's influence on hip hop. That show, how was that? You like connecting those dots for people a little bit? Because it sounds like that's always been hand in hand for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, you know, jazz is the root. You know, this is one of the main roots of hip hop. So connecting both of those together and educating, you know, the up and coming generation about the histories
Yeah.
is very important.
Was
Because
that
the
the one with-
faster that we go with technology, the more that's out of reach. So it has to be people to be here to remind them where this comes from. So
Is that the one with Walter Chancellor Jr. in it? The
yeah, with
That's
Walter
sweet.
Chancellor
Wow.
Jr. and his cousin.
the drummer?
Yeah, no, the trumpeter.
Oh,
About
that's
to take
right.
Islands.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
it's okay.
He was
About-
the guy on the fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
yeah. Grammy Award when he's worked with
Yeah,
Fantasia.
he's the
Lauryn
headliner.
Hill. Yeah, and I used to gig with him when I lived in New York. That's how I know him. But
What?
he's Walter Chancellor's cousin.
I never
That's
knew.
And the
that.
way that came about, them finding out, is a whole other interview. But Kevin Washington was in it. Kavish, Kai Viraj, Jeff Bailey.
Wow.
These are all amazing, talented musicians who are Walker West teachers, and I'm a Walker West teacher too. So, yeah.
That's very cool. And then just in December, there was Home for the Holidays at Crooners.
Crooners, yep, put on by Mid-America Talent. That featured an all-star lineup of singers. It was an honor to host that.
Yeah, sweet. Looked like a really fun night. And yeah, now we're caught up. We got maybe 5-6 minutes left. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about this Vibe Out Suite.
Yeah.
This is a new type of show. Is this going to be a recurring thing? Is this a one-off?
Yes.
What's going on?
So, we did the Vibe Out Suite as a pop-up throughout the years. It's like a test run. And every time we got a incredible response. We did it first at Faces Mears Park, which was it's like a restaurant lounge right across the street from Mears Park.
Oh, right.
That was amazing. It's like a kickback just with a DJ. And then we did it as a series at the Radisson Red during Black History Month, the year of the pandemic.
Minneapolis.
In
right?
Minneapolis, yeah, that went dope. And then we recently did it, well, I wouldn't say recently, like maybe like 5 or 6 months ago at the Moxie in Uptown. That was sold out. And I always wanted to have an event that was just like a vibe and an experience that really, as much as people are having fun and they're like enamored with like the eclectic ambiance, you know, the live painting, and the music that's being played speaks to their memories or speaks to their future. But at the same time, it's groovy, it's fly, it's eclectic, it's smooth. And yeah, that's what the Vibe Out Suite is. So it'll be at the Ice House on, the first one is Saturday, January 20th. Doors open at 7, the event starts at 8:30. The featured artists are Jamila Pettiford,
That's
who
Queen.
is, Rondo, you know, in the house. Jamaila's amazing. She actually just sung the national anthem
That's right.
at the Los Angeles Lakers and Minnesota Timberwolves game.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like in the photo, you can literally see LeBron.
LeBron, yeah.
Like
just
standing there, like But yeah, Jamila Pettiford, Jordan Event, who is one of the hardest working people on the scene. She's only 21 and everywhere. She's just gaining everybody's respect. Then Kels Music, who is an amazing, incredible, just songwriter, artist, pianist, DJ Bake Show from KMOJ will be on the ones and twos, and Novo Neuer will be doing a lot of painting, and I'll be hosting. But yeah, this will be a reoccurring event at the Ice House, a monthly.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah, the Vibe Out Suite. Yes.
Volume 1, January 20th.
Yes, January 20th. Be there, y'all. It's gonna be something on a whole other level.
Yeah, what are like the final steps in prepping a show like that? Like the final 3 big things you got to make sure you get.
The final 3 big things. Well, number 1 is securing a location to rehearse.
Oh.
Because when you're in a music town, a place is always going to be booked.
Exactly.
So you try to get to it, but you got to line up everybody's time. So you got a full band and singers with different schedules. You got to line all that up before you even go look for a location.
Exactly.
Along with my own schedule. So that is one. Another thing is just promo, man. Like promoting, you got to keep picking the lock. I promote in so many different ways. Like the way it's seen is one way, but there's so much I do behind the scenes, man. And you have to keep going because some people do events and they just chill. It's like not, or they will expect the artist to promote, you know? Like at the end of the day, as much as they do it, it still falls on you regardless, you know? So I'd say like that, final promotions, because like we're doing this podcast, but I still have to promote outside of the podcast. And I'd say lastly, the post-production, you know, like putting that together, you know, the recap videos, the photos with the watermarks on them, you know, because it's really about the equity of the event. I mean, it's the event, but what are you going to use from the event that you're going to present in front of an institution, program, or business that you want to sponsor it, you know? Like, those things matter, yeah. Those are 3 main
So getting the recap to kind of use that as your, what's it called, CV?
Like a resume.
Like a resume for the next time you're trying to get a show?
Yes, exactly.
I didn't even think about
That's what it's about. I mean, it's to display,
You're right.
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's to be used as a part of your package to whoever you'd like to partner with and things of that nature. And you got to hire people for that, you know?
Right.
Like photographers and editors and all of that stuff, yeah.
And I'm sure, yeah, if you want that done nice or even done fast, it's gonna cost something to make that happen.
Totally, man. But, you know, Dame Dash said a true boss puts their money in, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't an entrepreneur when he first said that, but when I got in the game, I understand where it's coming from. You know, it takes money to make money. You have to invest something in your business in order for it to grow. You can't always just wait for a grant or wait for an investor. You have to like bet on yourself. Because it comes from, but the equity that comes from that, who knows what that could create. But it started with you betting on yourself. Like when I started the Avant-Garde, I had to put my own money down. And you know, it's grown, but that was the inception of it, that type of mentality. And I still use that mentality with everything I do with it, you know. Oh, yeah.
It shows, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for, again, taking the time out to chat with us. And
Definitely, yeah.
To talk about the Vibe Out Suite.
January 20th, be there.
Yes,
Be
be
there.
there. It's going to be something on a whole other level, y'all, for real.
You can check out more at theavantgardeis.com, as well as theavantg on Instagram, and Niles Got You on Instagram.
Yeah, I think the link in the bio on both those Instagrams is tickets to that show. So
Exactly. Totally.
It's
Yes,
easy
it is.
peasy. So,
Yes, at Ice House, y'all.
Exactly. Well, yeah, definitely be there. This is DogStar Podcast.
We'll see you next time. Bye. Wow.
All right.